Hey everybody, welcome back to the Adulting Unriddled podcast. My name is Ate and I'm with my co-host Rudisho. Hey
Hey
Rudisho,
guys, hey Atle.
how are
Yo,
you?
I'm tired. I just want to sleep.
What
I
have you
feel
been
like
busy with?
we just had like a mini road trip, my cousin and a couple of his friends yesterday. So I'm just like super tired. I
Why
slept, but
wasn't I invited?
you
I
tell
feel
me,
like I'm family.
you are
I feel like I'm
literally
family.
you are 200 kilometers away.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
not
even
bad.
an
That's nothing.
option? It's not even
That's
an
nothing.
option.
That is
Next
nothing. I can
time,
make it.
we'll invite you in
Yeah, maybe
December.
maybe we should have a road trip with all of our listeners.
Listeners,
Let's make it a thing, guys.
all expenses paid, guys. You don't have to
Who's
worry.
gonna pay? Who's paying?
We got you. I'll pay. It's okay.
All right, all right.
How are
How has your
you?
week been?
How are you?
I'm
I'm
good.
just tired. My
I'm
week has
good.
been long. I just want to sleep. That's it. I wish, like, if it was up to me, I'd probably sleep and just rest this entire week. But it's not, and we
Hmm.
have to keep moving. So yeah.
We move.
Your week, and how is your week?
My week has been good, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I've just been a bit busy with a lot of podcast stuff. We
Mm.
have a lot to do, so
Yes,
that's been
true.
keeping me busy. A
Mm.
lot of admin that I need to do because I'm doing it all alone.
Yeah, shout
Need to
out to you.
save.
You're doing great. I'm proud.
You don't even feel bad. Wow. Okay.
You know
Okay.
I help
But
out
no.
wherever I can, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't
No,
feel
you do.
bad. Okay.
No, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm really
Yeah,
good.
that's good, man.
Yeah.
And your school was
So
finally
last
back
week,
again this week.
sorry.
Saying and you're back at school again this week. As long as you're coping,
Yeah.
man. I feel like that's what we
Yeah.
can
I'm.
do.
I'm. I'm. I'm getting by. Hey. So I've just decided that you know what, I'm not even gonna try study anymore. I'm just gonna work towards my submissions, prepare for the exams
Ish,
because yeah, things are
let's
getting
not even
hectic.
get into school. Never mind
Yeah,
that.
guys. Let's not stress you guys. You guys are procrastinating, watching this
Exactly.
procrastinating. Now we're telling you about school again. Let's not do that to you
Yeah,
guys.
keep listening, keep
Uh,
procrastinating
yeah,
instead.
yeah. You don't need school. You just need to listen to us. Listen
You
to
know.
this sexy voice. Hey, baby girl. Hey, baby boy. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Anyway,
All right, let's get into this week's episode. So last week we spoke about friendships. We spoke about the dynamics of our friendships, how our friendships work. Khudisha told some of you guys that she doesn't consider you friends, she just considers you acquaintances. I hope you guys have
outing me.
healed. I hope you
Yeah,
guys have, recovered. If you
those
haven't
who
listened
know
to that
know.
episode, if you haven't listened to that episode, go check it out and see if you're Khudisha's friend, if she considers you a friend. Yeah,
You're
but
outing
yeah,
me.
we talked about we talked about friendship dynamics, how
Mm.
our friendships work, who we consider friends, who we don't consider friends. Yeah, I told you guys about how I got ghosted as a kid and how I've never
You
recovered from that.
said, guys. But for the full
Please
story,
send
you
some
just
love,
have
guys.
to listen to the
Yeah,
previous episode because we
yeah,
said
please
a
go
lot.
listen.
We said a
We
lot,
did.
but one thing we definitely want to cover is just toxicity and friendships, and we'll touch also a little bit of toxicity in relationships, in all of our
Toxicity
relationships actually.
all around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because for some people it can be found first in parents, so for some people in their siblings, and then next thing it's your friend and whatsoever. So yeah, that's basically where we're going. And for you, I'll ask you that what is the one thing or the one experience that made you leave a friendship because you realized how toxic it was getting, either
I
from your side or from the friend or the relationship other person's side? Because I feel like we never get to maybe analyze and introspect and see in some situations the parts that we played. Because I mean, it's easier
yeah,
to
yeah,
blame a person, it's easier to be the victim, and it's a bit harder to admit that, man, I may have done the worst thing here, I may have pushed this person to the limit, or
yeah,
somehow I don't know, played a part in this, whatever. So that's, I'm like,
Yeah.
is there ever been a situation where you've seen that, ugh, this may have been my doing? Or do you feel like it's always the other person, or now you're perfect?
Well, at first I always think it's the other person, but I think so many times it's always been me. But the thing about, and my problem with friendships is that most of the time I'm the one who always leaves, even if it's my fault. I always leave. Apart from the times I've been ghosted.
I don't even
I'm
laugh.
joking, but but yeah, I think the one time I remember where I heard how I wronged the other person,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard it only this year, like a friendship that ended 2 3 years ago. The person told another friend, a mutual friend of ours, that I was, well, I basically ghosted them.
Oh.
Yeah, that's literally what they said. That like
Hmm.
I just ghost people. Um, and like it got me thinking that, yes, I did leave that friendship at first. So like I'm able to leave people's life and like, create a distance and then just magically come back when I feel like I've healed.
No, that ain't
Um,
it.
and yeah, and it's not healthy because
That's
I'm
toxic,
very
sir.
passive aggressive. You got me, arrest
Mm-mm.
me.
I,
I'm joking, but yeah, I've picked up that I'm very passive aggressive. And in being passive aggressive, I just stop talking to you. I'd rather stop talking to you than address what's been going on. I'd rather keep it in. Um, and I just think that maybe it's because I don't like having uncomfortable conversations with people. I don't like telling people how you've hurt me, because I also see it as being vulnerable, honestly,
oh yeah,
which
yeah.
is not
That,
healthy.
yeah,
Which is not
that also
healthy
kind of
because,
makes sense.
yeah, because then you hold so many grudges, and
Mm.
people don't even know why you're angry at them. Whereas,
Exactly.
yeah, whereas it's easier to just like let people know that, hey, you've
Mm.
hurt me, and the person can be like, oh, I didn't know that I hurt you in this way, because most of the time it's like that,
Mm.
the person
Or
probably
maybe
doesn't even
because
know that they hurt you.
I think I may have mentioned this last week, but I feel like for the stuff we don't confront, there's probably, or maybe this is just me, the stuff I don't confront, parts of me feel like aren't that important. But I always feel like I owe that other person, like, they need to know why I maybe don't want to be friends anymore, or don't
Yeah,
want to be like
yeah.
in that relationship anymore. I feel like I owe that, but maybe because you, I could be wrong, but maybe you don't see it as something that matters that much. That's why you're like,
I think
peace
no,
out.
I think personally, yes, that could be one reason that I don't see it as that important. Sometimes I tend to undervalue my friendships.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
okay.
yeah, I tend to undervalue the role people have in my life, and but then it also causes me to be very selfish,
Mm,
especially when I've been offended, I've been hurt. I become very selfish. I'd rather not talk to you than, help you correct that thing. Like it's easy for me to help people when they've hurt other people, but when
mm-hmm,
it comes to me, I'd rather just like cut you off out of my life, keep my
mm.
distance, um, and like basically just try to lick my own wounds in my own corner, rather than tell you. And I think for me, that's the reason why
Your
most of my
toxic
friendships end.
trait. As a
Yeah, I
friend,
think, yeah,
I'm
it's
taking notes.
passive
If anything
aggression.
happens, I'll be like, okay, at least I knew that this person
No, no,
ghosts.
but I think I genuinely need to work on it. I don't
But
think it's
even,
healthy.
and now that you're on that, like ghosting, just because it can be either good or bad. I've read somewhere, but I can't remember exactly what she was saying. The girl, she was some psychologist, and she was talking about how in situations, she says in some situations she encourages ghosting, friendships,
What
relationships,
situations
so
are those?
maybe if it's like extreme stuff, like maybe if a person is abusive, or maybe they've like
Yeah, but I mean,
extremely hurt you and manipulated you. So I just think,
I mean, I think
mhm,
ghosting. I think there is.
Is
there
it?
are situations where it's permissible.
Yes.
I think
Certain
especially like,
situations.
yeah, especially in areas, and let's just like be specific to friendships because you're talking about friendships now.
Mm,
I think with abuse, it's completely different and
mm.
it's
And
justifiable
I think one
because
thing,
it.
speaking of which, I think one thing we should be able to admit and notice is that there are certain friendships that can be abusive, whether and on most parts emotionally. Because there are people who are able to nitpick the parts of you that you know are somewhat weak, if I can put it that way. I mean, we all have our
Yeah,
weaknesses. And there are people who
yeah,
can nitpick on that and just use it to, I don't know, destroy you, to manipulate you,
yeah,
to make you
yeah,
even be in a corner where you realize that if maybe I stop doing certain things like this person is gonna stop being friends with me, and then you just keep doing things that you know they are way out of what you would rather do, but you're just so
mm,
scared, and somehow you end up being so codependent on your
yeah,
friend that even when they leave, or you can't, there's certain stuff you can no longer do without their presence, or sometimes
yeah, yeah.
unfortunately without their approval either, because you're just so dependent and on this person. And in others, no, is it ever healthy? Codependency isn't really healthy if we're keeping it
Maybe we should go
100.
into that. Eh? Maybe we should go
Yeah,
into codependency. Eh?
even
I
in
feel like,
friendships, in relationships,
yeah.
it's toxic
I think
for
I think I
you,
think
for both
let's start in
parties.
friendship.
Yeah, for
I think
both
let's
parties.
start in friendship.
Because I've
What
seen
do we define as codependency though?
codependency is basically being dependent on a person. I
No,
don't know.
but in terms of friendship,
In terms of a
in
friendship,
terms of friendship, yeah.
or I could maybe make an example, you know,
Uh-huh.
for maybe
Sure.
let's say, yeah, let's say I'm your friend and now there's literally, I'm just super dependent on you, that there's certain things that, or if almost in all my things, I don't think I can make decisions or I can move forward in something without asking you to help me out. Or I feel
Mm,
like if we stop being friends, like it'll probably be the end of my world. Isn't like not being sad, but to a point where I feel like I'm just not complete at all. It's just some sort of expectations of like somehow this person completes me. It's like my homie to the T. If anything happens, it's the end. I don't know if I'm explaining it
but
properly,
but
but you'd
I
probably
hear you.
elaborate
But
better.
yeah, I think in what you said. My question then is, what about the people who think their friends are their soulmate?
Okay. I feel like that's a thing. I feel like that's
Yeah.
a
So
thing.
so what
But
about
then,
that?
the,
What about that? What happens when your soulmate leaves the friendship?
you know, I feel like maybe we should just understand that not everything lasts forever. If and like you know how they say the whole leave a room for disappointment kind of a thing. I think we should have that in
Yeah.
friendships because I've had that. And then things, I wouldn't say they didn't end well. We just grew apart partially, but we still talk every now and then. And I was like, yo,
Mm.
that girl's like my soulmate. She knew we had that thing, but I wasn't totally dependent on her. I think there needs to be a healthy balance of knowing that,
So do you still consider them a soulmate?
yeah, I don't know. I could say that, but I just know that things are different now. Do you know what I mean?
No, not really. I don't have
But
any soulmates in my life. I'm my own soulmate.
what's
So
that?
I really don't know.
But
Yeah.
have you ever
Um
maybe been in a situation where you felt like somebody was just too dependent on you?
yes. Yes. I have.
How does then the question I was like, how does a person then deal with it? Especially, remember we spoke about this in the first season, that there are also
Yeah.
friends who use you as an emotional crush. Like crutch, my bad, sorry, as an emotional crutch, and the friendships who bond on like trauma and like maybe all the sad things, because there's that part where now they become maybe a little bit too dependent on you emotionally, or maybe even in other parts too. Yeah. How
Yeah.
do you
I
deal with
think
such a thing?
honestly, in my opinion,
Mm,
it's very easy for someone to become very emotionally dependent on you. Especially in my case where I allow people to become vulnerable with me, you know, it's
mm,
easy for me to say, hey, Hudi, I see that you're going through this. Let's talk. And, you can call me at 2 a.m. in the morning and I'll pick up the phone. You can, let me know that you need help and I'll be there for you.
and that's okay.
But yeah, but I think it's very easy to then slip into that trends of being emotionally dependent on someone, because then it's easy if you've been so vulnerable with me that now, every
Mm,
time something happens,
I
every
can
time,
give this person
this,
help.
yeah, the slightest inconvenience
Mm,
happens, you want to talk to me. I mean, it's easy to let that happen. I just think that I try as much. I think I'm more conscious of it now. At first, I wasn't, but I
mm-hmm.
think I try to be as conscious about it now. And I try to be distant with people. I try to. I'm also very picky with the people that I allow. Well, I allow them to open up to me,
Mm,
because I think with my friends, I don't necessarily want to be that person they can be vulnerable with to that extent. I think
okay.
sometimes with friendships you need to draw a line, and
Yeah.
maybe for me it's different because I'm not very attached to people in some
Mm-hmm.
in some way. I know
Well,
it
for
sounds weird.
me, it was pretty
Yeah,
attached. I just think the important part is just having a healthy balance. I think it's just important to know that if I'm not around or I'm not available, you won't necessarily fall apart. You know,
yeah,
it's okay for you to call me at 2 a.m. It's okay if maybe there's a minor inconvenience, you can call me. But
hmm,
the last thing that a person should do is to maybe end up in a space where if I'm unavailable or if I can't help them at that moment, they mustn't be in the place and be like, this person is a bad friend because they left me
yeah,
to be eaten by crocodiles. When
yeah,
really people can only do so much. I think you should know that this person is helping me, but this person is not my savior. This person is not here to save me. This person is here to help me.
but I mean, when we talk about friends, I think it's easy for that to happen. I think if Hudi, you and I are friends, and you're there for me when maybe let's say I'm going through a phase of anxiety, and I'm dealing with anxiety, and you help me through that phase. You're there for me. You're supportive, but at the same time we're friends, so we talk every day. I think it's very easy to become emotionally dependent on you, because we'll text and I'll be like, hey, friend, you won't believe what just happened. This so and so did this or said this to me, and
Mm.
it offended me. And as a friend, you'll be there for me. You know, um, I just think that the easiest way to deal with all of this is just to go to therapy. Honestly, um,
Therapy
because I
advocate,
think,
hello.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I need
but
to get that promo. I need to
yeah,
get the therapy promo.
but I just think there needs to be a healthy balance. Of course, you talk to me every day. That's why, like, my bottom line is just that you understand I'm here maybe to walk by your side, help you, but I'm not here to save you because there's only so
Mm,
much
mm,
I can do. I won't have all the
mm,
solutions all the time. Sometimes the best thing I can do is listen, you know. I
yeah,
think
yeah,
codependency can get super unhealthy that it's even toxic on my side, or even it's actually on both persons' side, because now it's like without this person it's the end for me, you know. I think
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the part where it gets like it probably makes friendship toxic, because I have mentioned this before that for me there's certain friendships that when those friends started healing and actually started having the means to go to therapy and started putting the work, because I realized maybe this is just in my journey only, but I have realized that sometimes you get just addicted to the pain or like being in a sunken place. And
Okay.
that, yeah, or maybe that was just
Okay.
my situation. Sometimes you get so used to being in the sunken place that any chance of happiness you get, you ruin, because you feel like this is not a normal thing for me. So if I
Mm,
the normal thing for me is to be in a sad, weird space. But I'll go deeper into all of that in a different episode. So for me, with those
yeah.
friends, I realized when they started doing the work and having the means to start to go to therapy, even our friendship dynamics changed, because you
Mm,
can see
mm,
that the main thing that brought us together was just somehow our emotional dependence on each other and our horrible life stories and all of that stuff. So I think in some cases that's just the thing, that if it became toxic for us, and then when I realized that this person is putting in the work, because obviously I check in on them, I mean, I care, but when I
yeah.
realized that work is being done, that's when I even realized the dynamics of our friendship changed, because I'm like, that's where you see that the main basis of this friendship, maybe we didn't bond because we like the same stuff or we're different, but it was all brought through like trauma.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
some
So
friendships, of course, there are cases where even when the person is doing the healing work, you are still gonna be great friends even afterwards. Maybe that shows that maybe that wasn't the main basis. I'm actually thinking of somebody specific now. How when they even started getting in the work of like going to therapy and whatever, our friendship
yeah.
dynamics didn't change. The only thing that the person would do would be like, okay, so maybe it's just something small happening now. They'd be like, I've been feeling like this, and you just talk to them quick. And even with maybe they'd go to therapy, we'd be like, okay, but this is what I learned today and whatsoever. Just keep me
Mm,
accountable and things like that. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So then where do we draw the line between accountability and dependency?
Yes. I was
Because
just
I have friends, and
Mhm.
maybe I need advice here, because I've started a connect group with a few friends of mine, and they are like genuinely close friends of mine. And I'm thinking now that, I want to be vulnerable with these guys because I need them to keep me accountable. I need to tell them everything that's going on in my life. Whenever I have a crash, whenever I'm going through everything in life, these guys
Mm.
need to know. And not only because they're my friends, but because we're in the same connect group. Um, but now I'm thinking that, it might actually become easy to then become emotionally dependent on these people,
So
because
where
then
do we
I'd
draw
be
the
vulnerable with
line?
these people. Yeah, so where do we draw the line?
Between codependency and accountability? I think
Yeah.
the difference will probably be the fact that in accountability, it's not very hard to call out a person. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
if I'm telling you to keep me accountable, I will be like, this is probably my end goal. This is what I'd like to achieve maybe here, or this is what's been happening or whatsoever. I need you to help me out, not necessarily give me solutions. Because sometimes when we
Yeah.
are dependent to people like with our emotions, we usually sometimes we're just looking for solutions. You get what I mean? So I think maybe
Mm, mm,
when
mm.
it comes to accountability, I think that's the difference. If maybe you'd be like, hey man, I think I like this girl. They can be able to be like, okay, here's what you can do. But they're not saying this is what you should do. Yeah,
Okay,
I guess.
okay,
But I
okay.
think, and the other thing with accountability is that it needs total honesty. So when it
Mm,
comes to that, okay, maybe in my situations for the people who I've asked to help me keep accountable in a couple of things, I have realized that in some situations where I'm maybe if I'm getting a little bit too emotionally dependent or whatsoever, it's not a problem for them to call me out, you know.
mm. And
So,
be like,
because
whoa,
hey,
hold up.
I don't think I can deal
Yeah,
with this. So I think
Mm,
maybe that's the difference when it comes to like emotional dependence or codependency and accountability.
okay.
That's
Okay.
just in
And
my
I think
situation.
I think we've dealt with the easy part. Friendships are easy. Let's talk about relationships now. Dum dum dum.
That's why
Yeah.
I can go on about being toxic there. I don't even want to lie, okay?
Yeah, no, let's I think we can have the toxic relationships later on because I
Phew,
could also go on and
phew.
on and on.
Because,
But I think let's talk about emotional dependency in relationships. I
it
think
can be
personally I've
heavy.
observed that, yeah, I think I've observed that I think we even normalize it. I mean, I saw the other time on Twitter, there was a tweet that said, some girl said, when you get into a relationship with me, just know that I'm clingy. And she said
He
something
hates
like,
that.
I'll be on your back 24/7.
You hate that, I
And
know.
that is a red flag, guys. How is being clingy attractive? How is it a character trait? I just don't understand how the in I really don't understand how there is a healthy way of being clingy.
They,
And I think there's so many times in relationships where we try to make a lot of things, like we try to romanticize these
Mhm.
very toxic things that in normal friendships would be a red flag. Like, I mean, if Kudisha, I told you that, hey, Kudi, if you and I became friends, I'm gonna cling on you for the rest of your life. It's like, oh, okay, you probably think I'm a serial killer, but like in relationship, why is that okay? I I I I don't know. I think there's some sort of unhealthy emotional dependency that has developed in relationships, and I think that
I
personally, I'm not ready for.
I wouldn't go too deep into that because in general I've never been in a situation where I feel like I was able to be fully open with a person. Have I? Oh, I think I
Mm,
probably have. I was. But it wasn't, I feel like I had my boundaries because there were parts of me that felt like there's only so much this person can do. It all goes back to what I keep saying, that in as much as this person is here to help you, they're not your savior. Like, I just keep saying that. I
but
think that's
but
what
but
keeps
but in
replaying.
relationships, that's different. I mean, you
And
could you could say it all day, but I think
I
it's
know
different. I think
I approach it like that. That's, I'm like, I don't think I've ever been in a seriously, like, I've just actually never been in a serious relationship for me to now make analyze
all
how
right. Maybe
exactly.
maybe I should give my account because
Yes,
I've
because
been
you've
on
been.
both sides of the spectrum. Yeah, I've been on both sides of the spectrum, and I only realized after that relationship that we were very emotionally codependent on each other, and that was very. Phew, I don't want to say this, but it disgusted me. It really disgusted me. But
Did you
I think
notice during or after?
after I noticed after. So, I mean, like you open up to people in relationships, like you
Hmm.
tell them everything, what happened in your life, that uncle who kicked you once, things like that. I'm just saying. But so last year, then I started dealing with my mental health issues. I had anxiety issues, and yeah, at first I didn't go to therapy, and I think I was in a very weird place, but like I just kept on talking to this person. I mean, they were literally the only person who knew that I was going through this. My family didn't even know until it was very late and like my studies were starting to dip.
Be affected.
And yeah, so I was basically like talking to them about everything, you know, telling them how, I'm going through this phase of confusion, like everything.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, then I started going to therapy. So obviously, when I go into therapy, then I took the load off their shoulder, my partners,
Yeah. Without a
because
doubt.
then yeah, because then I opened up to my therapist, and yeah, so and this is me giving my account of what happened,
Because there
and
is
yeah,
no
so
innocent one in the game for two, they say.
yeah, yeah, and and I didn't even notice that. I mean, I only realized that, I was very emotionally dependent on this person when we were talking this year, and this person was like, hey, it really hurt me when you were in a better place and you were giving credit to the people who helped you when you were in that dark place, and you didn't give credit to me when I was always the one who was, there for you. We would talk about this every day, and stuff like that. And that's when I picked up that I was very emotionally dependent on that person. I don't think that was healthy. But like, I apologized for my side of the for basically, yeah, my wrongdoing. Um, and there was emotional dependence on my side. On my partner's side, it was a bit different because I think, again, last year, and last year there was a lot happening. But
So
like last
2020 is
year,
nothing for you.
yeah, this is a breeze. This is a walk in the park, guys. I'm having
Must
fun here.
be
While
nice.
everyone is complaining, I'm like, I'm having fun. I'm just smiling, and everyone is like, this year has been bad, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm just saying that because I'm trying to fit in. Um, but but on their side, I think I picked up that they were very emotionally dependent when school was getting hectic for them, and she would tell me about her day every day, how this and this and this went. And like, there came a time where, like, I don't want to say this, but she became complacent. It's not complacent, but like, obviously, you tell me how your day is going, but I just felt like, it's starting to become too much for me, especially because I was also going through, you know, my own issues. I just felt like, hearing that, you're going through this and this and this and this and this and that, and like you're getting sick, and like it just became too much for me, literally.
Now that you
And I don't,
mention it,
yeah,
then now that you mention it, do you think it's better to get into a relationship when you know you are okay? Actually, that's true, which is actually something you should do. Get into a relationship when you're emotionally mature.
yep,
But do you feel
yep,
like it's healthy to be in a relationship while you are still healing? Or if you do
no,
that, you
no,
should understand that there's only so much your partner could do. Because I can't be the person to tell anyone right now that I was a person who did this because I've never been in a serious relationship, like I said. But
mm,
the
mm,
closest thing I got to it, I'll tell you my experience with that. With that person, I wasn't able to tell him everything, or rather, I chose not to tell him everything, right?
mm,
And I think the good thing that we both did is that we communicated very well. Like you wouldn't be afraid to tell me that I'm not sure if I can help you with this, but
yeah,
tell me what you think will work for you. If you need a therapist, hey man, I'll help you get someone. If you feel like
I recommend
sometimes,
someone, yeah,
yeah, sometimes you just wanna sit in silence because you know you're not okay, cool. I can come through, we can hang or whatever, but just know that I can't really help you with this one. And I think
yeah,
maybe sometimes that's what we need, like full on honesty. Because for some people, they're emotionally like for some people they are genuinely emotionally mature to help you out. But then I think it's important not to end up in a position where now the other person ends up having a burnout, you know,
yeah.
because sometimes
I
that
think
becomes the
sometimes
basis.
the load becomes too much.
And
You
then
start to
sometimes
overburden
mm,
someone
was
with a lot.
something, yeah, something that started out good now becomes like walakalela. I don't know, you dread it. That's the English word. You dread it.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, you already know that this is what this person is gonna tell me. Like it somehow sucks out the joy. And yes,
mm,
there's probably seasons where you know that maybe things are not going good and maybe things will get better. And maybe the important thing is basically just to be honest enough with each other and be like, I don't think maybe we can handle this as much as I thought. Maybe let's
Yeah.
get you professional help. I think that
And
helps.
and
And
I think
we shouldn't blame people when they feel that way. I know I say that to friends, and I've said that to people who is yeah, that I've like been. I don't like saying being in a relationship because I mean didn't even really last that long, whatever. But
mm,
I'm able to tell a person that I can't help you, but the thing that I can do to help you right now is get you help, you know,
mm, mm,
because,
mm.
and it doesn't mean I'm not competent. It doesn't mean I am not
Well,
good
you're
look.
not.
Yeah,
Well, you're not
in
competent.
yeah, in that very situation, I'd probably say that I'm not, but it doesn't make me a bad friend or a bad partner. I think
Yeah, it
we
doesn't mean
should.
you don't care.
It doesn't mean I don't care. I think we should just notice that, and that's one thing I have learned that for some people, I know there's someone who'd approach me and be like, "So, but I've been going through this. I've been going through this," and I'll tell them, "Listen, I'm here for you, but here are resources
Mm,
that can help you. Whether it's an article from
yeah.
somewhere, whether it's a podcast where they were discussing something, whether it's a YouTube, whatever, or even if it's a devotional, I send through those things. I'm like, you can go through all of that, and I'll just check in on you every once in a while if they're working well for you. And if not, the best thing I can do is to get you resources. And I'm really
Mm,
grateful that all my friends are understanding of that, or even
yeah. Yeah.
the
I
like.
think I think I think I've also picked up that the biggest cause of emotional dependence in relationships is that you tend to isolate yourself from everyone else, especially your friends. You
Mm,
tend to start to alienate your friends. I've picked that up a lot, and again, it's something that we make, we make it look okay that I'm in a relationship, so it means I shouldn't have to talk to you every day because
mm,
I'm with my boyfriend and girlfriend every day, and that is not healthy. I mean, I also picked it up that both of uh, both my ex partner and I, in our relationship, we alienated a lot of people. Um, and I only picked it up this year when I was reading a Christian article about Christian dating, because when I got out of my relationship, then I genuinely wanted to know what does God and what not maybe, but yeah, what is the godly way of getting into a relationship? What is the godly way of dating? And I read a few articles on a website by John Piper, Desiring God, and one of the articles was talking about keeping your distance in relationships. That as much as a relationship and your boyfriend or girlfriend is very important to you, it's easy for you to alienate everyone and just focus your energy on this one person. Just look to this person, talk every day with this
that
person.
can be
Every,
dangerous, actually.
yeah, listen, and we normalize that. I mean, I remember there was an argument on Twitter whether you should talk to your boyfriend or not every single hour of the day. And people are like, no, but guys, this person is my partner. I should be able to talk to them every day. But once I read that article, I picked up that it is actually not healthy to talk to your partner every day.
Ah,
I mean,
no,
yes, I said it,
let it,
guys.
ha,
Quote me on this.
let's
Quote
argue.
me on this.
No, I think there just needs to, we can talk every day, but obviously we're not going to talk every single hour of the day. I mean, we all have like our lives differently. I know for me, I hate referring to it, but anyway, with like my last relationship, we wouldn't talk all day. The last, like, would probably call me at night and we talk about the day, and then that's it. Because he was very busy for most part. I was also very busy for most part. But if we could chip in the chat, we could. But we talk in the morning, good morning, have a great day. This is what's popping today, or I know I'm gonna be busy. This is what's up. And then later we'll talk and whatsoever. But every hour of the day, it's
I
not
think
very
I still think
practical.
I think in terms of a relationship that's still a problem, personally. looking back at what happened in my relationship
Yeah.
and what I've been reading. But I'm also reading about this, so it's not only based on my experience. I think I've realized that sometimes we tend to, and now I'm talking from a Christian perspective, because
Mm.
both of us are Christian, and we want to do everything in a Christian way. So I'm going to speak on this in a Christian perspective. I think as Christians, we still regard marriage as being very important, right? We agree.
Yeah.
Um, we believe that marriage is a reflection of Christ's relationship with the church.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Mm.
Hear me out. I'm going somewhere. I'm taking this somewhere.
Yeah,
Just bear with
listening.
me for a minute.
Mm.
And in a relationship, all of this is healthy because you live with the person, right? You talk every day because you literally wake up with them, you go to bed with them every day, even if whether it's a work trip or everything. But like, you still talk every day. It's healthy. It's normal, and I agree with that. But I think in a relationship, and this is what the church constantly tells us. This is what our pastors constantly tell us, that this person you're in a relationship with is not your husband. They're not your wife. At home affairs, they don't know about your little relationship, right? And I think that's where the world tends to get it wrong, and they're trying to make it look like it should be normal. I don't think it should be normal to talk to someone every day, because I think then you become very over reliant or emotionally dependent on that person. And again,
Mm.
there's also that thing that we've made it normal that it's okay for Hodi to be clingy to Ate if they're in a relationship, and it's easy for that to happen. I mean, like, I get that you could get a good morning taste, good evening taste, but like, I don't think you guys should be talking every day, because then you become emotionally dependent on that person. It happens, guys. I'm not I'm not
Listen.
I'm not I'm not speculating. I'm telling you what happens. If you and I talk every day, there's going to be this, it doesn't feel normal if we skip a day not talking. It feels like, hey, I haven't
I
talked to
feel
this
like
person
that.
in
I've been in situations where I feel like that, and I won't
yeah, and
lie.
I don't think that's
But
healthy.
I it didn't get to a point where it was unhealthy. That's in my situation. That's the
But
thing.
is that not unhealthy in itself? I mean, like, it's okay with your friends. Look at it this way. We think, and again, I'm talking from a Christian perspective. We don't consider you. We consider your partner, your brother or sister, until you get married. True. This is what the church says, guys.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
what we believe in. This is what your pastor
Mm,
tells you every Sunday. That this person is, look at them as your brother or sister until you get married.
mm.
And I think if we keeping it in a brotherly way, you
We
don't
don't have
talk
to
to your
talk
friends
every
every
day.
day. Yeah, you don't put too much pressure on your friends to talk to them every day, do you?
No, but we do.
Exactly. So why then do you
Listen,
need to
do
put
you
too
know what
much
I'm
pressure
thinking
on
right now?
someone?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna need us to talk to a person who has been in a relationship, and then I would like to hear the opinion. I think he had been with his partner for like 3 years, right? And
Mm-hmm.
because and yes, he's a Christian, right? So before we get too much into this, because I'm a bit conflicted, I don't even lie, when it comes to
And,
the thing of
and
not
and and a
talking
lot
every
of people
day.
probably are watching
Yeah.
this right now.
So what we'll probably discuss it, my bad, sorry. Discuss it further with him. I'd like to
Yeah.
know also from his opinion what he does, what he says on that, if he talks to his partner every day or not. And but
All right. All
my
right.
question is though, then if you're not talking every day, how well are you gonna get to know this person? Because I mean,
I think there's a healthy way of doing it. I think
I see you on the weekends and we go out and chill for lunch and
no, but like, I'm not even saying that you guys should like talk once a week. I'm just saying, you know, be able to keep your distance,
then
a
what
healthy
happens?
distance.
Then now
I
what
think
happens when we get married? Like it's a huge. Don't you think now that's a huge shift?
But you're not married.
I'm saying then what
You
happens
might
if
be
you
preparing
do?
for marriage,
Yes, then
but
what happens once you
yes,
get
you
married?
are preparing for marriage. You
Yes,
are
I'm
preparing for
saying
marriage, but it's not
that's my
100% guaranteed that you're getting married.
question is, if it ends up at such a point, then don't you, what then? Now we're used to not talking to each other. Now we're living in the same house. We're not used to talking every day.
But like
What a huge
that's the problem for
shift.
marriage. That's the problem for the married. If you want to learn about that, go listen to the How Married Are You podcast. I personally love them.
I'll
Yeah. But
I'll
anyway,
check them out. You've been saying.
yeah. But like I'm saying, in relationships, we're not talking about marriage. But I think yes, that is a good question. I think the problem with it is that you guys are not married yet. You might be working towards marriage, but you guys are not married yet.
My main
And
question is just what happens if you do. Once you get married,
you
you
do what? You'll get used
um
to it.
no,
Before
sorry,
you go
give
into
me
this
zero.
relationship,
I'm
wait,
sorry.
listen, hear me out. Hear me out. Before you got into the relationship with this person, you guys did not talk. Before you had their number, you guys did not talk. You lived. Did you not? Did
But
you
it
die?
develops, which is the importance of like how
Yeah,
these
but
things
it develops.
develop.
It will develop in marriage.
And if
No?
you find out things are not as organic as you thought they were, now you have to beg a zela.
Why are you getting married to someone who you're not sure about?
Then I would be sure if we talk every day now.
No,
Listen,
no,
it's something
no.
I'll have to find out more in this thing, but
Guys, I
I
disagree.
genuinely, I'm
And
not too sure if I agree with you, but I think we'll get into it when we are talking on the specifics of relationships. But for
yeah,
now,
we're going next week. We're going into a relationship, guys. So
yeah.
please stay
But for
waiting.
now,
Be patient.
hey,
But
but for
like, I'm willing
now,
to die on this hill. Don't talk to your partner every day. Ghost them just one day. Just blue tick them the entire day. When they
like,
call you, hang up.
hey, I don't know how I feel about this, but
Trust me,
you know
guys.
what, guys?
But yes,
Hey,
we're going to go into this more.
yeah,
Thank you so much for listening. Whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, Anchor, yeah, let us know
watching
what you
on
thought of this
YouTube.
episode.
You can comment down below even of the stuff that you've been relationships, friendships that have been toxic for you and how you got out of
Yeah,
those situations. For some people, the toxicity is a person not talking to them every day. But you know what, guys? Our situations
yeah,
are
yeah,
different and whatsoever. But anyway, I
yeah,
think the takeaway is just that it's important that we just have healthy boundaries so that we don't end up exiting toxic relationships and in whatever way have those healthy conversations with the people around you. Tell them that this is as much as I can handle, or this is all that I can do to help.
yeah.
Maybe sometimes the toxicity is peer pressure. Be honest with yourself. Change your friends if you have to, because
Cut
it's
them
not,
off, ghost them.
yeah, cut them off, ghost them if you have to, because it is not healthy. Love yourself enough to make choices that you know are good for you. And they don't have to be hard. I mean, they don't have to be easy. They'll definitely be hard. You'll feel sad afterwards. But like we've mentioned
Yeah,
before that, hey man, sometimes the correct decision does make you sad, but it doesn't mean that it's the wrong one, you know? So do what you have to
yeah,
do. Love yourself, and if you have to love the other people from a distance, do that. You'll thank yourself later.
yeah,
And it's good for both parties, whether the other person sees it or not. But yeah, we will see you guys
yeah.
and you'll hear from us next week. And on that note,
Just
we're
just
saying
just to further prove my point, I will include the link to the article I was talking about in the episode bio, just to
yeah.
prove you guys wrong and to prove Khudisha wrong. But yeah,
Personally, I'm not
I'll
ready
include
to be
the
wrong.
link.
So I'm not gonna read the article.
I'm
But no,
fetching you guys.
I'm
We're starting
joking.
a relationship series the next episode. So I'm fetching you guys. I'm going to call all of you guys out. We're going to have so many guests. Yo, guys, we're going to have so many guests. Single people, people in relationships, people like me who don't exactly like relationships anymore. We're gonna have everyone.
That
Um,
explains a lot. But no, on the real though, guys, we'll see you in the next episode, and just stay safe. And yeah, follow us on our social media podcast pages. I'm actually gonna
At
post this
Adulting
question for
Unriddled podcast.
the coming at Adulting Unriddled podcast. Yes, I'm gonna post this question. We'll be asking you guys a number of questions during the week that we'll be tackling these things in our coming episodes. So yeah, do the most and follow us. We'll leave all the description links in the in the description box and on YouTube if you're watching us on YouTube. And if you're
And
watching
Anchor and
in
Spotify
Anchor,
and
yeah, you can just
Apple Podcasts.
mm,
Yeah.
the description links will have the links attached to all of our pages. Yeah, but on that note, we love you guys and stay safe. Peace.
Bye.